The African rift fissure continues to grow, and this massive crack could split the continent in half. We know the island of Madagascar, there to the right, was part of the African continent millions of years ago and has split. And this area of the great African Rift Valley, dotted with openings, cracks, as you can see here, the East African Rift System, going through Kenya. And also, if that goes, that's from what I backtracked, is basically the origin of the Nile River. What happens when that is gone? Does the Nile River also stop? So this is the East Africa Rift Valley, as you can see. A study released recently prompted that the rift is being propelled by a massive ejection of superheated rock originating from the planet's core. We know that this area is dotted with volcanoes. The colossal fissure tearing through the southeastern part of Africa might be an omen of a geographical shift, according to recent scientific observations. This gigantic rupture is approximately 2,000 miles long. It's been slowly stretching wider by about an inch every single year, and may eventually divide the African continent in two, leading to the formation of Earth's sixth ocean. Because once that splits, obviously the ocean will rush in. Countries nestled along the southeastern seaboard of Africa, stretching from Ethiopia to Mozambique, could end up as part of a gigantean island, paving the way for a fresh, vast expansion of the sea. The Eastern African Rift, EARS for short, this geographical phenomenon known as the Eastern African Rift, is believed to have initiated about 22 million years ago, but a significant surge of activity over the past few decades has spurred a renewed scientific interest. In 2005, a noticeable crack emerged in the deserts of Ethiopia, and this apparent manifestation of the ongoing tectonic process has been expanding at a rate of an inch per year. The Eastern African Rift is a consequence of two tectonic plates. It's the Somali plate in the east and the Nubian plate in the west, and they're slowly drifting apart. And although this has been known, the precise mechanism behind this tectonic separation remains a mystery until recently. When will the continent split? A study released recently proposed that the rift is being propelled by the massive ejection of superheated rock originating from the planet's core. There's a hotspot mantle plume there. Despite this startling discovery, it's crucial to note that Africa is not expected to sever completely for at least another 5 million years, and once a split does occur, Somalia and parts of Ethiopia and Kenya and Tanzania will form a new continent. What we do know is this rifting will continue on its present pace to eventually open up an ocean basin like the Red Sea, and then later to something much larger like a small version of the Atlantic Ocean, said Ken McDonald, a professor of the University of California, Santa Barbara. Our Earth is growing, and nobody knows why. It's growing at the rate of how much a fingernail grows in a year. Now, or might it speed up and get there more quickly? We don't know. Or it might stall out as the Atlantic did before it commenced the true seafloor spreading. At the present rate, a sea about the size of the current Red Sea might form in about 20 to 30 million years. New cracks are appearing. Geologists have been monitoring the appearance of new cracks indicative of this ongoing shift. For instance, a 35-mile fissure that emerged in 2005 already suggests the formation of a new sea near Ethiopia. And even more so, the separate fissure tore through Kenya in 2018 after heavy rainfall prompted evacuations and causing disruption to roadways. McDonald believes that more such cracks will continue to appear due to the action of the Eastern African Rift. The 2018 crack, according to geologist David Adede, was originally filled with volcanic ash. However, the intense rainfall washed away that material, revealing the underlying fissure. While the process was gradual, some locals reported feeling the ground shaking under their feet, making the situation seem abrupt and swift. Researchers have hypothesized that the expansion of the East African rift zone is due to the Somali and Nubian tectonic plates drifting apart, a notion confirmed by a 2004 study conducted by researchers at Delft University of Technology in the Netherlands. The East African rift, stretching from the Gulf of Aden in the north to Zimbabwe in the south, is a complex system of deep valleys, steep escarpments, and volcanic peaks. It represents an ongoing process of continental rifting wherein Earth's crust is gradually pulled apart. What is driving the rift? The Geological Society of London suggests that this tectonic phenomenon could be due to the heat flow from the asthenosphere, the hotter, weaker upper part of Earth's mantle between Kenya and Ethiopia. Confirming this hypothesis, a recent study from Virginia Tech employed 3D simulations and discovered that the rift was indeed being driven by the so-called African superplume, which was responsible for the unusual deformations beneath the system. Geophysicist D. Sarah Stamps explained the different deformation styles of a rifting continent using an easy-to-understand analogy. If you hit silly putty with a hammer, it can actually crack and break. But if you slowly pull it apart, the silly putty stretches. So on different timescales, Earth's lithosphere behaves in different ways. Tahiri Rajaonarison, a postdoctorate researcher in New Mexico Tech, added, "We confirmed previous ideas that lithospheric buoyancy forces are driving the rift, but we're bringing new insight that anomalous deformation can happen in East Africa." And the debate continues as scientists continue to investigate these geographical phenomena. The 2018 crack continues to spark debate within the scientific community. While some believe it's a real-time indication of continental separation, others contend that such rapid progression is highly unlikely. Amid this scientific discourse, people like Eliud Njoroge Mugua, the local resident, bear the brunt of these geological upheavals. Mugua claimed to have witnessed the crack splitting his home, and he barely managed to gather some of his possessions before his house collapsed. For now, the future course of the African continent's tectonic journey remains a matter of speculation, scientific discovery. Of course, it will happen in millions of years. It will be a separate continent with a new ocean. This is by Christy Sexton via Earth in its unbended reality. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.